Day 1 of STAAR Review had you working on questions 1 through 5. So I'm just going to review questions 1 through 5 so you have a reference to look back at and you have something to guide you with your question answering method, okay? All right, so number 1, four students are each trying to raise the same amount of money for a class trip. The table below shows how much of each student's goal has been met. Okay, great. Fundraiser progress. I've got Chelsea, who got 0.7% or 0.7 of their goal. Devin, who got 2/3 of their goal. Hung, who got 5/8 of their goal. Marcella, who's got 65% of their goal. Which list shows the numbers in the table in order from least to greatest? Cool. So that tells me right there I'm going from least to greatest. I am ordering numbers. So here's what I do. Put an L here and a G here, because I know I'm going from least to greatest. I've got numbers here who are not already in decimal form. So that tells me I'm going to have to button my shirt. I'm going to have to put these in decimal form and line them up. So here's my buttons. Miss Calico calls this buttoning your shirt because when I order decimals, I need my decimals to line up. And I know, like, you getting ready to go to church, when you put on your button-down shirt, your buttons need to line up. If your buttons don't line up, you look a mess. And nobody wants to go to church looking a mess, okay? So we take that method into our mathematics career, and we button up our shirts. We line up our decimals when we convert them, okay? So let's do Chelsea. Chelsea has 0.7. Oops, that's already as a decimal, so I can go ahead and flip that over. 0.7. The next one says 2/3. Well, 2/3 is as a fraction, and I know in order to turn a fraction into a decimal, I divide. 2 divided by 3, I should get 0.66. I'm going to say 7 because I do know I have my little kids who like to, ooh, you said 3 6s, okay? The next one, 5/8. I didn't draw my arrow, so I see it connected. Sorry. 5/8. Well, I know 5/8, again, is a fraction, converted to a decimal. 5 divided by 8, I've got 0.625. And then 65%, if I Dr. Pepper 65%, remember Dr. Pepper? First thing I ask, do I see a decimal? No, so that means it's automatically in the back. If I'm going from percent to decimal, I move my decimal towards the D or towards the doctor. So here we go. Move it towards it. It becomes 0.65. When I'm ordering decimals, the first thing I do is I read it from left to right. If I'm going from least to greatest, I'm sure I'm going to be able to figure out which one's the biggest, which one's the smallest if I go from left to right. So let's see. Covering up everything else, starting at the beginning, 0, 0, 0, 0. Can't tell. So now I have to move behind the decimal. 7, 6, 6, 6. Well, automatically I see that the 7 is more than the 6. So I now know that Chelsea at 0.7 is the greatest. So that's gone. Now, using this one thing, I'm going to go to my answer choices and I'm going to see what I can get rid of. I know 0.7 belongs at the back. So everything without 0.7 at the back is now gone. So here we go. Oops, A is gone. B is gone. Now I'm left with C and D. On your STAAR exam, you will always be able to get rid of 2 dumb answer choices, okay? In this instance, our dumb answer choices were A and B. Now we're left with C and D. Let's see which one is the most correct answer. So back here, I've got 0.667, 0.625, 0.65 left. I was right here when I was trying to find the difference. I've got 6, 6, and another one. So I can't tell the difference yet. So that means I need to move over one more. 6, 6, 6, 2, 6, 5. Looking at this right now, I can already tell which one is first. It says 0.62. that automatically is the smallest because 2 is smaller than 6 and 5. So I now know that hung with 5 over 8 is going to have the least. Look back at my answer choices. Dang it, both of them start with 5 over 8. Both of them end with 0.7. Gotta go back. So this one's now gone. I'm left with these two. Here we go. 6 and 5. I know that the next smallest is going to be 0.65 because 5 is smaller than 6. So the next one should be Marcella at 65%. The one that has 65% as second place is C. And that's how I would answer number 1. Number 2 says, which graph shows a proportional relationship between X and Y? Key word to this says proportional. So I'm going to go back to my brain dump just in case I drew a blank. I know direct variation is proportional. And I see a graph. And next to the graph it says goes through origin. Well, lucky for me, this is all graphs. So I'm looking for the one that goes through the origin. So I'm going to put a dot on the origin for each of these. Just to see which one hits my nice green dot. All right, so that one hits. Maybe that's the answer. Oops, that one doesn't. Nope. Nope. So the only available answer choice was F. Right, number 3. Point M is located at 4, 6 on a coordinate grid. There's my coordinate grid, but there's nothing there. Okay. Point M is translated 8 units to the left and 9 units down to create point M prime. Still no points. Which measurement is closest to the distance between point M and point M prime in units? My key word here to tell me what I'm going to be doing is distance. And if you go back to your brain dump, distance is a key word for Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to go ahead and write that here. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. But there's no labels. Like there's not a right triangle here. How am I supposed to find the distance? Well, let's try plotting the points and see what happens. Point M is located at 4, 6. So I go to my coordinate grid. Start at the origin. Go right 4, up 6. And there's point M. Then it says it's translated 8 units to the left. I know translate means slide. So it slid 8 units to the left and 9 units down. So let's do this. 8 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then it says 9 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've just created M prime. If you notice, I now have 2 sides. If I dash a line, I also seem to have a hypotenuse or a C. I can now use these numbers and this beautiful right triangle to use my Pythagorean theorem. A can be either 8 or 9, so I'm going to choose 8. And B is going to be 9. I still don't know what c squared is. 8 squared is 64. 9 squared is 81. Still don't know what c squared is. Okay? 64 plus 81. So 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 145 is equal to c squared. Now, here's the thing. On your brain dump, it says distance, and it also says always square root. So, yes, I got c squared, but I don't want c squared. I want to find c. So, in order to do that, I must take the square root. The square root of 145, c is going to be about 12.1 because 12 times 12 is 144. I look up here in my answer choices. The only one that's accurate or closest is going to be D. This question would have been a little tricky, seeing as they use the word translated. However, as long as you identify your keywords, you will be okay. Your keywords tell you how to handle the situation. Okay? All right, number 4. Tamara invested $15,000 in an account that pays 4% annual simple interest. Tamara will not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. How much interest will Tamara earn on her investment at the end of 3 years? Okay, identify my keywords. This said simple interest. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to go to my brain dump. And I know simple interest gives me interest only. So I'm going to use my circle I over P times R times T. Cool. Tamara will not make any additional deposits or withdrawals. Okay, great. All that means is you're going to use what information they gave you. Nothing extra. Okay? All that means is use what's in the question. Okay? They throw that in there to throw you off. But you're smart cookies. You don't need it. So you can legit get rid of it. No one cares. But you do need to identify your key pieces, right? So it says how much interest will Tamara earn on the investment at the end of 3 years. So if I'm looking for the interest, that means it's not going to give me the I. I need to find it. P is my principal amount. Keywords for principal are borrowed, loaned, invested, or put in. I see the word invested, so that $15,000 must be my principal. Then it says 4% annual simple interest. Hey, 4% is a rate. So I know that R is 4%, but remember, R, it needs to go from percent to decimal, so I need to Dr. Pepper it. I need to move it 2 times to the left. Move the decimal 2 times to the left. So if I've got 4%, don't see a decimal, so it's at the back. Move it 2 times. 1, 2. It becomes 0.04. And then it says earn on investment at the end of 3 years. So that must be my time. Plug in all your important information. My principal, $15,000. My rate, 0.04. My time, 3 years. Now, Ms. Calco doesn't have a graphing calculator with her right now. However, you on your STAAR exam will be allowed to use decimals. So, what I would do, type it in. 15,000. Remember my parentheses, 0.04, because I'm multiplying, and parentheses stand for multiplication. And then for 3 years. My interest is $1,800. Answer choice F. Notice if I had stopped typing in, I got 600. If I did not include the years, I got 600. That's an answer choice. You need to follow through on your steps, okay? Trust yourself. You've got this. We've prepared you for this. Use every step and just follow your gut. Last one, number 5. An aquarium is being filled with water. The graph shows the height of the water over time as the aquarium is being filled. Which statement best describes the rate of change for this situation? Rate of change. In 7th grade, you were taught rate of change, but in 8th grade, we changed that to slope. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out my formula chart or my brain dump again, and I'm going to look. It says slope of a line, and I know slope of a line on a graph is rise over run. Okay? I can handle this 2 ways. I can use Desmos and create my table if I find my 2 points, or I can do rise over run. Okay? Because many of you are going to use Desmos, I'm just going to go ahead and use Desmos. First point I see is 0, 0. Okay, I need 1 more point. So I see 2, 5. I'm looking for a perfect point where 3 lines meet. 1, 2, 3. So 2, 5. Once I have my 2 points, I can go into Desmos. All right, here we go. I'm going to click the plus sign. Actually, I'm going to go to Desmos practice mode. Desmos slash, this cannot spell today. Practice mode, because I know that I have to be in test mode in order for me to get the correct results. So choose my assessment. I test in Texas. And I'm going to be using the grade 8 science, biology, grade 8 math, Desmos. Right, in the top corner, it'll say Texas STAAR because that's what you're taking. All right, in order to plug these points in, you need to click the plus sign to add an item and add a table. In your table, remember, if you would like to change the color, you simply hold down the colored circle. Miss Calco likes orange because it's bright, and I like lines, okay? To get out of it, I can click the circle again. Add my points, 0, 0. Notice it plotted that point. Go down, add my second point, 2, 5. Notice it plotted the second point and drew a line. Now that's the easy part. The hard part is remembering the cheat code. So you go down to where it says line 2, click to activate it. You're going to type in Y1, because that's my Y1. Squiggly line, M, why am I on capital? I don't know. Y1, squiggly line, Y1, squiggly line, MX1 plus B. It says my M is 2.5, aka my slope is 2.5, aka my rate of change is 2.5 with a y-intercept of 0. It completed the line for me and it went straight through my first point, 0, 0, and my second point, oops, hover over it. It won't show me. Whatever, my second point, 2, 5. All right, here we go. So if my slope is 2.5, I'm looking for the one that says 2.5. So 20, nope. 1, nope. 5, nope. 2.5. Okay? Now that's 1 through 5. On 1 through 5, 2 of the questions I used decimals on. Honestly, you could have used decimals on number 1. You could have used decimals on number 4. And you could have used decimals on number 5. So 3 out of the 5 you could have used decimals on. Okay? All right. Off to the next 5.